Woo wee. I am a little bit late today. I was shooting for noon my time and it's a little bit after. But I'm glad I'm here. I had to run out. I wanted to grab some things to share with you and kind of recap some of the things that we did this past year. Notice my little camera here is having a challenge today. I don't know if it's because it's too cold. That's probably what the reasoning is. I am going to lift it up though a little bit so that it's ready to share. All right. I am Kathy Freeman with Kathy Freeman Art. I've been on the last couple of days. I don't do a lot of lives on here, mostly just share some of the things that I'm creating, but been on the last couple of days because I have opened up the membership that I have, which is My Art Sisters. It is a wonderful art club, and I've opened that up for new members this last 2 days, yesterday and today, for people that have been thinking about it, maybe contemplating it, to give them their last chance to get it at the price that I had it at this past year. Next year, it'll be a different price. So, and that's simply because I'm making some changes in my structure of my business and I want to add some fun things and do some fun things, and it will obviously cost something. So, welcome. I see people coming on, and I am so glad you're here. Please put your name in the comments. Tell me where you're from. I always get excited to know where this is streaming to and who's actually caught it for the day. I've got a little project we're going to do, but first I want to take you through this little journey with me. And it's some of the recaps. I do have this streaming into my membership. We do have a private Facebook page here also. And I've got it streaming in there so that the gals could kind of remember some of the things that we've done. Then if they didn't do it and they're like, oh yeah, I wanted to do that, it will remind them to go back. Plus, it's a great thing for you to see what we do. Then I've got a project that I'm going to give to you that you can download the download, and it will be in my little art village that I have. I'll explain that in a few minutes. So the last couple of days, what I did yesterday was I created this one called Balloon Wishes, and I put both of those videos in my little art village. How do you get to that? You go to myartsisters.com. It will open up a page for you that is what the members use, and this is our little art village. You can click on there. There's a few places that are open to the public, and you can have access to those places. Now, I use those little extra campers that you'll see to put in some of these classes that I like to give to the public. So camper 1 has something, camper 2 has something, camper 3 has this in it. You'll find these 2 videos, and then today in camper 4 I will put the new project. Let me share with you for a second what this is, because today's project, well, actually, before I go into that, let's just do a recap here on a couple things I wanted to share. These are some great ideas, I think, for you, and whether you're a member of ours or not, I think it's something that you might enjoy doing yourself. And so I'm going to tell you how to do it and some things about it. Do you see this little shoe? This is such a darling little shoe. I picked this up at the thrift store because the project that I gave to My Art Sisters back in October, I think it was to create a journal. And I wanted something a little bit different than the traditional open a book and, write your stuff into it. I thought, let's make this something unique and fun. And so I went and found a shoe. And what we did is this is on here decoupaged art paper and then painted over. So I created this with paper and paint. Let me get a little bit closer so you can see little paper musical notes on there and just some fun things. And it's just decoupaged around. Then I am a bead gal. I do love the beads and all the pretty little sparklies. And so for mine, everybody's is to make theirs unique to them. Mine, I added the beads. In this, what happens is I cut a pattern out of the sole, and then this lifts out. And on the pages, I have put pictures and little remembrances of things that are important to me in my life. And so this becomes a piece of art, but also a little living journal. And I can keep adding to it. See, I have a lot of space I can add to this. And then just pull it out with this right here. It's a little bit tight. The cool weather's kind of shrunk it in there, but it pulls out like so. And then just start adding the papers to that. So that is a project that's in the library. So members, if you forgot about that, you can find that. I believe that's in October's. You can go back and look. Now that's got my mother and I just talking and thinking because she has my grandfather's shoes, and I was like, "Ooh, you should use those." And what I did is I went ahead and I went to the thrift store again, and I found this shoe, which is pretty big. It's a size, this is a 12, but my father wore a size 13. And so, and this is just exactly what he would have worn. I tell you, I was like guided and helped that day to find something because I went ahead and I displayed these in a genealogy convention to give people ideas of how they could store some family memories and do some fun things without having to just always write in paper. This he was born up in Montana, grew up and went to in Utah. Mountains were some of his favorite things. I placed different pictures that I had of him around the shoe and different events that occurred in his life and placed all those, decoupaged those all around, just took the pictures. And on this, I did use Mod Podge. I'm not a big Mod Podge user, but I did with this one. And glued those down. And then inside the sole here are pictures and that and stories and things that relate. My father has passed, so but these are things that relate, memories that I have of him and pictures that I had. So I think that's a fun idea if you like to do some journals and you want some ideas of some fun things that you could do. That is, I think, pretty clever. This was a project that I had my art sisters do, and I loved this saying right here. What if I fall? Oh, but my darling, what if you fly? I just love that. I love that quote. I need to put a little glue down on that, don't I? That's got scritched up. This is a mixed media piece, the background. How you create that is I took the a stencil that I had. Can you see all the texture? I took a stencil that I had, and then I took, you can use either modeling paste or you can do something like matte gel, matte medium, and put that, just wipe that right over the stencil. Carefully lifted the stencil up and then dried it. Once it was dry, I came back and just covered over it with the paint, the acrylic paint, and it made a beautiful background. And then these little pieces here were all created separately and glued down, and they're watercolored. I gave the members templates so that they would have these images that they could actually transfer onto the watercolor paper if they so choose, but they could draw their own also. Isn't that a cute little fairy? Just love that. She's sitting there on that little watercolored flower perched in the garden, being reminded that she can fly. I love that. Another one that we've done in the past that I know others have loved, and it's kind of fun to add things. If you can make your art a little bit more tactile, so that people want to reach out and touch it, it brings a whole different level to your piece of work. So this is just a simple, it's done on an extra piece of poster board that I had, black. So I didn't even have to paint it. You could just use your paper or some kind of cardboard that you have and paint it black, but it's black background. This is added and it's created with, and I just went blank on that. I said it a few minutes ago. Oh, modeling paste. Remind me that someone type that in so I won't forget it. Modeling paste. But created the shape of the tree with modeling paste, and it gives such a great texture. Went back in with a sharp tool that I had, and or you can just use anything. It doesn't have to be sharp, but something to create the grain of the wood, and then we'll let that dry. Came back and painted over the top. Now, something you need to be careful of when you're using this and doing this is the modeling paste will have a tendency to dissolve, and that's what it's meant to do. Is it's meant to dissolve in that. Um, so you want to, put it on, but don't add tons of water to it. Came back in. I wanted it to be a snowy scene. This is one of the winter projects that we did. So, gals, if you're looking for this in the membership, just a second, I've got a little sneeze here wanting to come. Sorry. If you're looking for this, look in your January, February's projects. And this one, I believe, goes back 2 years. So this may be in 2022. You could probably find this. Quick, easy, fun project. I know I had some great comments back on that. Came back with this, I think it's called raffia, not sure myself, glued it down to make that nest. Isn't that fun? And then this was a different piece done on watercolor paper. Just created the little birdhouse. Easy peasy. You'd create a rectangle, draw your lines for your wood, put a little circle inside. This is a triangle shape. See, it's just an exact triangle right on top, but have it extend down on the edges a little bit further. Put a circle inside that. When I painted it, you paint the color on first, then come back and put some highlights on it, and then come back and you see how a little bit of shading in there. Hi, Joni. Glad to have you here. Put some shading against those lines so that you get that dimension, that texture to it. So you put the main color down first, add a little highlight to it, and then come back with the shading. And that's easy. You can just take, like I used yesterday, the watercolor pencil, and draw a little bit of a line there. Take your wet brush, and then it'll bleed itself right out, and just do that beautifully. Same thing with the circles, and then came back with a dark, my permanent ink, went around it to give that dimensional look. And then this here, for the fun of it, because, it's snowing out there, right? So we added some modeling paste right here on these pieces, just kind of roughly, so that it stays. And so this gives that fun texture that makes you just want to reach out and touch that one. And it's such a simple, easy project. I know the members loved making that. So there again, members, if you're looking for it, it's in the library, and it's look back in 2022, around January, February, we did that one. Joni, we have a project coming up here in a minute, but I'm just doing a recap on some of these so that they can see, the members can see and find these. Because, sometimes you don't do all the projects that I offer each month, and you tend to forget what's in there and don't go back. So this is just a little end of the year recap and things that they can find. Loved doing this one. This is on a canvas, a small canvas. This one was a lot of fun. I did it in several stages because there's a little bit of work, not work, it's not hard. It's just that there's a lot of layers to it. And sometimes you don't have all day to sit down, or, 3 or 4 hours to sit down and do it. So I did it in different stages and broke it down so they could do a little bit at a time. The background is, if you want to make this yourself, it is I put paper down on it first. And then I added, with that modeling paste that I love to use, I added, used the stencil and added the texture up here. Allowed that. And then, of course, I had drawn out where the little hen is, so I knew where that is. The template for this, too, you have a template in the library so you can use that if you wanted to draw it out. But you're did that first, added the little brick, and that's done with modeling paste. And once I started painting, then went in and painted the bird and all the flowers and that around it. So you create your background, allow that space, so draw your bird in there, and then create around it. And then once you start painting, you paint all of it. Thank you. Morning, Patsy. Oh, I'm glad you're here. Yes, this is something we did. You can find that in the library if you didn't do that and you're up for a project. Patsy's one of our members. Love. She's from Alaska. All right, this one was done. I actually did this. A lot of the people that I have on my email list saw this project and were actually participating in this project. I did it for the public. It is in our membership library. And cone of flowers, I called it. But I used the modeling paste here to create the cone. And I cut out what I did here. So if you want to do this yourself, is I cut out a form using, some paper cardboard, cut out the size of the cone, and then laid it down and put the modeling paste over it and lifted it, and it helped it so that it could give some kind of, its depth to it. And then came back with a sharper tool, little knife, and drew inside before the modeling paste dried, all those little pieces, this things that would be in a cone, an ice cream cone. The background is actually drawn on the flowers, and they're just fun, simple little 4-leaf, 5-leaf, little quick little flowers. Those are drawn on the watercolor paper, painted in, and then these are separately drawn and painted on watercolor paper and glued down over the top. So it gives that 3D dimension and adds that, once again, like I said earlier, that feeling of wanting to touch it and be a part of it. So that's kind of fun. The background is a collage, just a simple, I had some paper that's tissue that looks like musical notes. And I put that down first and then put the others. So this is a quick, easy, fun project. And you can find that a cone of flowers that's in our library also. Now I've got just a couple more, and then we're going to go into our project that I've got today. Just I'm reminding the members, this one is it's all a little bit of collage done here for the mountains, the little hills, but mostly acrylic paint and some gesso to give that illusion of snow. Did use the modeling paste again. I love using that because it just really gives a nice texture. It's thick. And then yesterday I did use the acrylic, the fluid acrylic, and I used that to create that. See, it gives it so it's not quite, you can see through it, and it gives it that little bit of it's a lighter feel to it. Fun little project. Great one to do at this time of the year because it is so cold out there. And so it's an easy one to do. That template is in the library. Here's what we did last year for Valentine's. It's a sweet little gal. Gave them this template right here. And then we just created our own little cards. And that was a fun Valentine's to make and to paint. She is watercolored. The template was given to them so they could draw that out on watercolor paper and then paint that and then place it. And they create it however they wanted. All right, I think I've shared enough with you. So I wanted to remind the members of some of the things, the projects we did, this little rose, some of the things that they've done so they could go back in and find some of these projects because sometimes you forget that they're in there. This one was done last November, not this one, but a year ago. And I love doing that. It's just lots of browns and working. It's very abstract with the leaves and just a fun project that's kind of relaxing to do. Today, I'm going to do this project with you, and I'm going to have the template for you to be able to download. I'm not going to do it like I did this. The members have this in the library. They've got and it's done to where it's the paper is all cut out and then glued down. But today I'm going to give you the template. You can do it that way if you choose, or you can do it a little bit different. The background on this one, let me tell you how that's created. I'm not going to do it on this particular one. We could, but I'm not going to. What you do is you paint a layer first of paint. And for this one, what I did is a lighter blue, if you can see. And then you go in and take like a chapstick of some kind. I've got mine around here, a chapstick, and create this lines going down it. All right, you create the lines. And then you come back, let that dry a little bit. You come back and paint over that, and then take off that chapstick. As you start to dry, that starts to dissolve and go away, and it leaves this wonderful texture of the background that's kind of that rough, rugged. I'll have to do a demo on that one again. I do have it. It's in this project, and you can see how I did it. That's popping up right there. I need to give that little glue, but this was a fun one to create, and it's going to be in there, but it's a 2 years back, so you'll find that there. So we're going to do a small version of that, and the reason is because today I wanted to focus on, rather than just a project, what I give to my members is what I call heart journeys. And this is an added bonus. It's something on the side. Not a lot of people are they may be interested, they may not be interested. So it's not my primary focus. My primary focus is the projects that we do during the month to energize and to get that creative energy going, so that whatever they choose to do, they've got that fuel to do it with. But this little heart journeys is for me, and I decided that while I was doing it, I wanted to share it with them also. So I said, whoever's going to do this, it's actually a separate section in our little My Art Sisters, that page. If you go there, myartsisters.com. If you go there, that's the little art village that the members use. Down in the little camper that says Heart Journeys, that's where they go to get this. And basically what it is it's all different kinds of thoughts and messages, uplifting things that have inspired me. I create the little packet for them each month. The beginning of the month is a little message or something. And then throughout the month, as I'm creating artwork, it's not, I do something about once a week. Not every single week, but about once a week. And it has a meaning. It has something in it. For example, these two, this one is ordinary people can do extraordinary things. And this message is to remind me, and it's to remind them also, that a lot of times you don't see what's really going on inside. You don't see all the beauty of everything that's inside. You just see what's out there. Something that may look simple, it may look ordinary, whatever. But inside is all this beautifulness happening. And that's what this is to remind us about, is that we can do extraordinary things. And a lot of times we don't see what's going on. That was a fun, easy mixed media piece done with, the top is done with the distressed oxides using a stencil and then watercolor on here. Something super and fast that they can do that is easy to remind them. This one is all about trust and being able to trust and know that sometimes we don't see what's really happening, but it's under the surface that great things are going on, and to trust the process. And then, of course, I'm not going to go through all this. This was October's. And what I loved about this one is I gave them a pattern for this little dress. And it was grace. It's all about grace and how we can be dressed in grace. And so as I went through that particular day, I made it and created a little journaling page for myself. And it all has, significant messages to me. Nobody else really knows what this is about, but I do. And that's the purpose of it. And then on the back, I went ahead and put my little message in there so that if by chance I forget, I can open it up and look at it. And a lot of times I just wrote it out here on the picture itself. So anyway, and then cruising on through here, that's what I'm going to be working on today. Is I want to add a piece into here. These pieces I make of this size. This is just a 3-ring binder you get at the Walmart. I think I could pick this one up and I can punch the holes in. I don't know that I'll punch the holes in the artwork. What I'm thinking about doing is I've got these plastics, cutting them down and putting them in the plastics so that they're protected and they're shielded. So we're going to take that wise man, because I came across a quote today that I just loved. I thought it was beautiful, and I wanted to make myself an image of it. And so I made it for you also. Here is the template that you have access to. It's not uploaded yet, but it will be in Camper 4. Just to repeat it again, if you're new, I've got another person that's joined here. You can go to, hi, Sue. You can go into our library. Remember how you get there, Sue? You go to myartsisters.com. It opens up the little art village. Click on Camper 4 later today, and you'll be able to download this template right here. And you can print it, if your printer will enlarge it if you want to, or make it smaller if you want to. I have already gone ahead and got my paper taped down. Hello. And I'm going to transfer that onto here. But first, what I want to do is I really wanted to play with, I've got all my pictures in that around here now. I'm glad you're here, Sue. I hope you got to see it. If not, you can go back. I did a little reminder there of some of the projects that we've done that's in the library, maybe some of the things that weren't completed by everyone, and you can go back and do those. Okay, I've got these really neat papers here that I want to go ahead and put down. Woohoo! I'm not going to use music notes, I don't think. Do you want some lines? All right, let's just go ahead and place these on here. And then what I did find, I was looking for this yesterday, and it was in a zipper part of my case. The acrylic crayons. Open up. Love to use those. So I decided we might use those today also. All right, so we got that. I'm going to get my my matte medium out, and we'll start applying that and create the background. Well, you know what might be good is I'm thinking, instead of doing all that, I'm going to do the background that I talked about in the other project, the one that, and then you can see how that's done. It's really a fun one to do. This is kind of a neat template I've got here. What happens is you take your matte medium, this stencil I have, okay, and then I'm going to take, don't use your good brushes on this. Remember, I talked about that yesterday. Something, you can use a brush. Do I have it here? I usually have one of those little tiny spatulas that, that you can use with cooking or something, but tiny one. And then you just scrape it across. But this one, we're going to go ahead and brush it on. Put it on here. And this would create just a real subtle background for this project. How's everyone doing today? Patsy, is that you that said I did this one? Did you do the 3 wise men when we did the large project? It's hard to tell because I'm going through one of the things that's streaming this, and it doesn't, unless you've given StreamYard permission, it doesn't post your name. So that's why you're always hearing people that are doing this. They'll say, yes, you did. Awesome. You'll hear them say, go ahead and put your name. And that's because unless you've given StreamYard permission, it doesn't post your name. It just says Facebook user. So, all right, here we cruise along. Now this one, we're going to do this one simpler today. I'm not going to cut out all the papers, etc., etc. I'm going to use acrylic paints because this is going in my journal. And the purpose of that Heart Journeys is because I wanted something just quick and easy, fun, not extensive, but something that illustrates what that message is. All right. And I have given it a good little coating here. And if it's not completely covered, oop, my finger's sticking to that. That's all right. Something super important that I don't have ready right now, so I'm going to take a second, is always when you're doing things with your stencils, well, you don't have to, but I strongly suggest it, is have something, I don't know if you can see that, but it's really very, very cool. Okay, is to have some water available and some sort of a container so that you can put your stencil in it and it doesn't dry on that stencil and ruin your stencil. So give me a moment. I'm going to just go ahead and I've got water here. You can use also a baby wipe if you have something like that. But I love my stencils, so I want to take good care of them. And that needs to dry for a second anyhow. Put that over here. Grab some paper towel. And I'm going to take me off screen here. I noticed yesterday I forgot to do it. Let's see if I can do it today. There we go. And then you get a better view of what's happening. Not that one. Oh, not this one. You didn't do this one, but you did a different one. Do you remember which one it was, Patsy? Patsy's up in Alaska. I loved, my mom and I, we love to talk with Patsy and find out what's happening up in Alaska. All righty. Thank you for your patience as I'm doing this. Try to go back and maybe edit that out of the video, though, that when it's posted, so you don't sit there and watch me do this. But there we go. Just to give that, kind of keep that from, I love this stencil, obviously, and I don't want it to ruin. So I need to take good care of it. Okay. Stick that underneath there. Here we go. Back to work. Let's try this. All right. Now, what that did, I don't know if can you see it? See that on there? Then as you come back over and apply, you can put a thin layer of paint on that. And kind of drawn to this green right here. Let's put it down and see what happens. It's always an adventure, isn't it? Not quite sure what you're going to put on or what's going to happen. Let's see if I took that lid off of this one. Oh, this one doesn't have its little plastic off. We can take care of that very quickly. Okay. I'm going to take a paper towel. You can use a brush. And I'm going to dilute this a little bit with some water, thin it out a little bit. So it's not really, really strong. And then let's just go over that. You can kind of see that background. I'm going to variegate the color. I'm going to do a little variation here and there so it's a little different. Darker areas, lighter areas, just by adding a little more paint on top. There we go. That's great. That works. Blend that down a little more. Let's put a dark area down here. And voila, the background is done. Is that not fast? All right, now something else you could do is paint your background first, then put that stencil on top, put it and do what I did, and then come back and put another layer on top. And as you can see, the color, you can see that color through your texture if you did that. I just did white paper and you're seeing the white that comes through. Okay, so let's move that out of there. I don't really want that on my sleeve. I'm going to stick that up here. And we are ready for the stencil. Which the question is, where did I place that as I was moving things around? I know I was doing, oh, there it is. I was doing a class one time and I couldn't remember when I put something and one of the members was like, you stuck it over. It was just precious. Love these members. All right, let's see if that's going to fit in there. Looks like it will fit just great. And come up a little bit. Now, I went ahead with this one and I did the lettering on here because a lot of times, personally, I don't feel super comfortable with my own lettering. And so it's nice to have something to follow along with. So we're going to take this. I'm going to add graphite paper behind it. Got a couple pieces here. Look for that shiny. I believe it's on this side. I'm going to go ahead and tape that down so it doesn't move. It's okay if it moves probably, but it's the pattern that I really don't want, the template I don't want to move. And I have to feel to see where the tape. I like to tape my edges so that I can, let's feel where that top is. We can go up a little bit. And a great way to do this is maybe, let's start over. Let's take the graphite paper off. Put this down first because I can see what I'm doing. And I'm doing it on such a small piece. All right. I'm going to tape that down so it doesn't move. Stick the graphite paper underneath. Okay. And then find a nice sharp tool to write with. I have a pen right here. I can use that. I also have some really nice that don't have ink, dried up pens that work really great also. Okay, so I'm going to start with just a little mark on here, and let's make sure that I have the graphite paper facing the right direction. And I don't. I thought I was so brilliant and I had done the right way. It's okay. You just do a little bit and then you can test it. All right. So this is a beautiful bracelet. My mother made this. Isn't that gorgeous? And I have had the best time wearing it. Thanks, Mom. I don't know if she'll ever see this, but I have been blessed to be raised around women that are very creative. An aunt who paints and draws, my mother who does both of those, but then more. She creates, and she's very good at crocheting, which I am not. So I love getting anything that she crochets. To me, it's a treasure. A grandmother that quilts. Quilts was her expertise, and the colors that she would pick for them were just out of this world. Beautiful, beautiful eye for color. The other grandmother, very artistic. She did not start she did a lot of needlework and stuff like that, as women did, back then. But she started, I think she was late 70s, maybe 80s. I'm not sure. Not sure. But she started to teach herself to paint and carve. She had moved back to her home state, which was Montana, where she was born and raised. And she had so many memories of the mountains and the buffaloes and all that. And we have carvings that she did and painted of the scenes that she remembers growing up around. Beautiful. And the interesting thing is she even made a bed frame, the headboard of a bed carved out. I don't know which one of the siblings have that one. Or the in-law, maybe the cousins. I don't know who ended up with that one, but I do have one of her pieces myself. I don't have, it's not a card, but it is a piece that was done with sand. So I guess I was just reminiscing on how blessed I feel to have been influenced by so many people that love to create. And I know that there are those of you out there that have not had that opportunity. And so that's one of the benefits of our art club, being in an art club, is to be around other creatives, to be able to glean from them and talk with them, see what they're doing. Total inspiration. I love when we meet on Zoom, I always ask those that come if they want to bring something that they're creating, and it does not have to be what they're doing with our group. I love to see what they're doing. And Patsy, she's got the most beautiful quilt that she's working on. Patsy, did you finish it? Hi, Marianne. Sorry, thank you. Did you finish your quilt? She was making a snowman quilt that was, I think it was a snowman for each month of the year. And she was just about finished with that. Here we go. Let me know if you're still there, if you did or not. Alrighty. I'm cruising along here. Usually I like to have this done I make the videos for the members so that they can watch them when it's the most convenient for them. And I usually have this done ahead of time so that they're not sitting here watching me draw every little line and everything that's going on. But it's kind of nice to print off if you don't feel super comfortable with your own lettering. I know I'm taking a class for it, but I'm not going to do the little, I got the little and down there. I'm not going to do that one right now. I'll put an A, V. Okay. We've got our circle for the halo. Now this would be, I think, kind of fun. It depends on what my background, is going to look like with it. But to actually just use like what I did yesterday, the gesso, and create a thin layer, a fine layer for this. Get this little, yeah, with the template, they were able to, it was a little bit of a project, wasn't it, gals? Anybody's here left watching, but turned out beautiful, but you just used it as a pattern and cut the pieces out of paper. And sometimes, let's go ahead and bring our lines straight down. Sometimes we're off of the pattern a little bit. There we go. I was visiting with my mother this morning, and she was, or this just before, and she was telling me that she had heard. Let me look up here and see. I'm working on learning lettering. Are you, Sue? Some look good, some doesn't. Good for you. I am too, a little bit. I like to do the mock, I think they call it, calligraphy. I haven't taken the time to practice that a lot, but super easy to do. You just have to remember what direction to make, to thicken the lettering. Okay, cruising along here. Anyway, I was saying my mom had listened to somebody and they're talking about goals and why people, they'll make goals and why they don't follow through with them. It's because we get bored. And she said, it made me think of you, Kathy. Not that she says, you're always changing and trying new things. And that's, it's one thing I love about, I think, why I went towards mixed media is because it gives you the opportunity to such a variety. I like variety. Just like you saw in the beginning when I showed you the journals made out of shoes. So I don't know if you're on here when I did that. Were you on here when I did that and saw that? This is in the library. Sue just joined back in again yesterday. Welcome, Sue. Anyway, this is in the library, and it's this past, I think, October we did it. And kind of a fun concept. Get an old shoe. I went to the thrift store and found something there. And then it's just with paper collaged on, simple collaged paper on, and we, paint and created that. And then I always encouraged everyone to decorate it the way they, that they suits them, what's to their taste. And I think that's why I showed that one of my fathers that I did, because it's a little bit different. Okay, we got it all. It's all on here. And it transferred well. Okay, the back of it's a little bit off as far as the picture goes, but it'll be great. It'll be just fine. Okay, I'll get that in the library so you can download that. Yes, you'll have to watch the shoe video because it was super fun. Okay, let's just start painting. Let's get in here and get going, right? I do want to do a pink. I want to do a purple. I don't want that one. I do want a blue. Okay. See, some of these I'm going to have to take off the lids here again. I look forward to you watching that video, Sue, and then kind of taking off on it and doing your own. Yes, your daughter loves shoes. Maybe you can make one for her. That would be super fun. Just kind of a different way to, we're always looking for ways to keep memories and store thoughts, pictures, etc. Okay, I don't want this all over me, so I have to focus for a second. There we go. Keep it a little bit on me, but not too much. All right. I've got a gold pen. Can use. Oh, rats. Sorry. I just purchased. And this is cheap paint. This is not expensive here. Crafter's paint. I won't do a lot of that. Let's see if I've got to take this one off. Woo-hoo, I don't. Okay, and the blue. All right. Get that little flower out of there. Find a small brush, and I'm just using the acrylic. You could also use let's try these and paint with these in here. All right. You can see how this works on here. These are the acrylic crayons. Grab my brush, my water. This is the brush that was giving me a little bit of problems yesterday evening. Look how nice that goes on. Beautiful. And I'm going to add that on down. Let's do his bottom part right here with what's left on my brush. These make it so easy to use. Just like the good old days as a kid, coloring. These are Neo 2 crayons. They're an acrylic crayon. There we go. I haven't used them in a while. Okay, let's come back. I'm going to put this dark up here, up at the top. We're not going for, remember, we're just having fun. It's a visual to remind me of something important that I want to remember. It's going to go in my Heart Journeys journal. Okay. And we've got back here this little box. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do it in 2 different colors of brown just so that you can see they'll stand out. And, oopsie, drop that in the blue. Might as well use it. It's on my lid, so just wipe it off. Let's use it. All right. Any special projects that you're working on yourselves right now? Something that you've got going on that switch to a smaller brush. Let's see. I'm going to bring the blue down here. Am I still in the camera? I have a tendency to pull my artwork close to me. And I'm going to go ahead and put it up here also. I usually like to work a little bit looser. This is pretty tight. Take a minute and wipe that off. All right, we're going to put purple up here. Wet that down a little bit. Gotta wet the boxes. Or the box, not the boxes, but the box. Got this light blue. Let's do the jar. I'm thinking as I started doing this, I was thinking might stay in an analogous art scheme. It's kind of that blues and purples and just so that it feels like everything kind of belongs together and it's got a real peaceful feeling to it. If you want it to stand out, you can do it gonna mix this up a little bit. Let's mix a color over here because I'm not liking what's happening with that right there. So I need it to be a little different than what's already there. There. See how that dries. Okay. Got our dark blue. Let me grab a white. Oh, let's see, I've got this white right here. Take some of this blue, let's mix it in with that. Fill this in. Okay, coming along. And I've got this hot, hot pink over here. Coat of many colors. Oh, you're working on writing your thank you notes. It's so quiet. Here we go. Sue, I'm glad you're back. Are you able to come to our Zoom that we have Tuesdays? Zoom at noon, Tuesdays. Or is that right during your work time? I loved hearing the stories that you shared before. There. So much faster to paint than to cut out all that paper. That was a project before. Okay, we need a brown. I'll just do there. I'm not doing super creative as far as giving a lot of technique or anything on this, because like I said, this is going in my journal. So, but it is a great way to have just a little project. Enjoy something to create. All right. We're coming right along. I have to look for my gold pen in a minute and see if I can find that. Let's go back to the white. And I'm going to work on, let's do something for the little halo. With the in the heart journeys, I do the three projects a month for my art sisters. In the heart journeys, I create the packet and share the messages, but I'll give templates when I create something for myself, but I don't sit and make, typically I don't sit and make a video for each one of those. I just show them what I've chosen to do because really it's a personal thing. It's more of like what, what speaks to you. What speaks to me doesn't necessarily speak to somebody else. So, but I show them and I give them the templates so that they always have something they can work with if they want, if they like what I've created. And usually I'll make, this is the size or the smaller size, which is the card, which I love doing that size. They fit in that size of book. For me, I like smaller notebooks and to create with smaller notebooks. I think because I like to pack them around, and so that's why I don't like to pack around a large. All right. Let's just do a little dry on that, and then I'm going to get out my gold. All right. That's enough drying for that. We've got that good and clear. I am not sure where my gold got pushed off to. If it got put in here or not. But I have this one. It's a little larger. Let's see if I can work with it. Looks like I can. Need some, there we go. Sometimes that glare makes it hard to see what you're actually painting. Wonderful. Okay, I'm going to come back with the jelly roll. And outline. You know, they say that every day we should do about 15 minutes of art, right? At least 15 minutes, something they say, just to kind of keep ourselves. And I'm thinking, I'm not one to just randomly do something. That's just not, I mean, for me, it doesn't work super well. I like to have a direction, and I think that's what I like to create. Someone asked me yesterday, Joni, somebody asked me yesterday about do I do templates with all of my projects for the members? And I said yes, because I think it gives them a direction. They can break off from that and create, add as they want, or delete, whichever. Okay. There we go. That little white was... Sometimes if it's still a little wet, which it shouldn't be because I dried it really, really well, didn't I? Could just be that this is a must-have, or at least some kind of white pen. Fantastic. And put little bits of just some lines, white lines going through the beards, through the hair. A little green, right? Use this is a watercolor pencil. Yep. Create that. Let's see. Let me grab a little tiny brush. Just doing the little finishing up here. There. There we go. Wet that down. Yeah. All right. Now what I'm going to do, I always like to do, is take the Distress Oxide. I actually have a purple. Where is that? I love that color. That would be beautiful with this one. Timeout. Let me look for it. See where I put it. I bet it's in this case. Okay. It's called a plum, I think it is. I was using it. Is that it? Nope. Lilac lavender. Pour them all out. It's got to be here. Here it is. Sweet plum. That will be beautiful to go around some of the edging here to give it a soft. Mm-hmm. The tape makes it really easy to be messy. Have you tried the glaze pens, Joni? I have not. Tell us about them. Tell us what you know about those. I haven't. I'll have to look that up. Okay. You know, art supplies. You can end up spending. So I kind of get my good old standbys that I like to use and try to use those up. All right, this has been super fun. Thank you for hanging in there with me as I've been doing this. Okay, if your tape ever gets stuck, you know the trick. Just put a little heat on it, right? Okay, let's put a little heat on it. Okay, this template and the video will be in camper number 4. myartsisters.com is the little art village where you can find those videos. Campers 1, 2, 3 has what we did yesterday, and they will be in there until I have till the 30th, which is just tomorrow. I may leave them in there a little bit longer, but the membership, I'm closing the doors late tonight. It automatically does it itself, but I'll close those down tonight. There it is. Isn't that wonderful? Now that's going to go into my journal, and it'll be a page, and I can have that. I can come back in. When I printed this, it's dark enough with the from the graphite, but I can come back and I can use my pen and go a little darker, but I don't need to. I like the way it looks just like that. All right, there's our little project. If you are interested in joining the art club, today is the day to do it. It closes down. And why? It's because this is the last time that in 2024. Oh, that's going to be a challenge to say, isn't it? You get so used to. I always have a hard time when we switch years. Anyway, the price, I'm going to increase that a little bit just because of doing some things that I want to do a little different with my members. And so it'll cost a little more for me. So I needed to raise it just a little bit. But you can go ahead, and if you joined, today's the last day, get in at the price it is now, and then it locks you in that price for however long you're in as a member. Forever long you're in as a member, it will stay at that price. So if you are interested, go ahead and go to KathyFreemanArt.com. You can see on there that I have a link up at the top that says My Art Sisters. Click on it, look through, see some of the things that we've got going on, and enjoy that. All right. Thanks for joining me today, y'all. I will post this into the camper where I told you it's going to be at, and we will visit again.